and it's become everything. And there she is. It worked.
Hi,
Hi,
Damone.
beautiful. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm so good. I'm obsessed with your hair and your lip, by the way. You know, I love the lip. I haven't yet tried Taraji's products, but like the best. Your hair looks amazing.
It's so funny because I was actually talking. Oh, thank you, baby. I was talking to her last night because I went to Target actually because she sent me a bunch of stuff and I tried it and I loved it so much. And it's actually one of those things I actually went to repurchase on my own. And I went to Target yesterday and I bought the whole line out. So I called her last night and I was like, "Girl, I love your products. Like for real, this is good stuff." So I'm very proud of her.
I love it. All our friends are entering the beauty world.
Yes, looks like I'm proud of you. I was just telling everyone how I don't remember how we first met. I know we've known each other for years. I know we text from time to time. I know we had dinner, but did we meet through our husbands?
I think it was socially. I think I was at an event that Dawn was giving at the beach or somewhere, and it was the first time I met you. And of course, I had known Ramon, so I was drawn to him to say hello. And you turned around, I was like, who is this amazing human being? And you guys had, I don't know if you guys had actually married yet, but you were together.
We were together, yeah.
You were so intriguing to me, Damone, as I'm sure everybody, around you is intrigued by you. You were beautiful and elegant, and I was just like, oh, I need to know him.
I appreciate that so much. I am such a cheerleader for you, Rea Ann. I swear to you, I tell everyone I know about how fantastic you are. I'm just so proud of you. It's just amazing what you accomplished and then continue to accomplish. You keep topping yourself.
Well, thank you. It's just a testimony to following your dreams, as you know, and following your heart, and having a passion for what you do, right?
Right,
And
right.
feeling like you can really make a difference with whatever your idea is. So, thank you.
Right. That's really
so
true.
So much of it is grace too, right? Like
so much of it is grace too. Yeah, I believe in the power of the universe. I want to go through your whole journey, but one thing I want to start before everyone that doesn't know, my husband Ramon, his brother Roberto, was a famous hairdresser.
Oh yeah.
Before I knew Ramon, and he has passed away. He's his late brother. But to this day, whenever I hear Roberto's name mentioned, I get the look on their face like you're giving right now. People just really, really loved Roberto. So I'm so sorry I never got to meet him, but I was a fan of his work. And
he was awesome.
He was an amazing guy. And my husband, I told him that we booked Rea Ann for beauty therapy. He told me that actually Rea Ann gifted Roberto with a shawl. I don't know if you remember that, but he said they had lots of different colors, gold and different threads woven in it. And it was so beautiful that the family decided that they were going to lay him to rest in it. So Ramon is very, very grateful.
Oh, you told me that just when we were talking about getting together, and honestly, I never knew that. I never heard that before. And Roberto and I were really good friends. First of all, he was so incredibly talented and young, and just, at a time in music video and in celebrity phantasm, where he was so popular, he was so successful, and he was so humble.
This is pre-social media.
Pre-social media, and he was he was so funny. And I don't know, we met on a set and just clicked. And
Here, baby, say hi. Say hi, Roberto.
Hi, Ramon. That's Roberto's brother right there.
Hi, Rea Ann. How are
handsome.
You? Oh my God, so good to see you.
It's so good to see you. I'm doing fine.
It's been so long.
Sitting up in my house.
I know. I'm so happy for you.
Isolating, secluding, sheltering, trying to work from home, which
isolating
surprisingly is easy.
I know, right?
Yeah. I was just saying how I was so surprised to hear about the shawl, because that was actually, I was getting to the story where I had wore it one night, because Roberto and I would hang out at night, we would work together.
I know.
Cut my hair, and I had worn it one night, and he was like, girl, I love that. And he put it on and was like, wearing it. And I was like, It looks better on you than on me.
Well, I remember you brought it to the hospital and he had put it on him, and then it just kind of was part of his, like, mantra and things that he needed to have. And then I remember at the time where we were burying him, and he was just all in white, and there was that shawl, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. So he went with it.
Oh,
so it was a beautiful thing.
So
I always
much.
remember that, and I don't know if you knew that, but yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. No,
you're welcome.
Of course, I remember the shawl, but I didn't know you could bury me. That's very special to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your. I mean, you're like the gift that keeps on giving, because now you have Damone. And he's like,
yeah, I have him. He's the one.
and
I will. But I just wanted to say hello real quick and send you my love, because I know that y'all got stuff to talk about.
Oh, so when this is all over, let's please get together. Oh, my goodness. Well, who's this?
He's over here at my legs. He's like, he can't be without. This is Francois, the famous Francois.
Francois.
Yeah. FRANSWAA, Francois.
Oh, Francois.
All right. Yeah, Francois. Love you. Take care. We'll got to get together right after all this is over.
Love you, Ramon. Good to see you.
Love you too.
And congratulations on all the stuff you're doing, too.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, babe. It's time. Move. I'm like, okay, babe. It's time. For sure.
Oh, you got your fan. I love it.
I got my fan.
You got your diva fan.
I get flashes. Yeah, I get flashes for sure.
Honey.
Okay, so I want to hear everything about. I got so many notes on you. I researched you, and again, I was always impressed. But like, I'm impressed for real, because you're.
Oh my God! What did you find out?
I found out that you sell 23 units a minute of the products you invented.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
The last time we checked. Thank you.
I know it's probably more now. And I saw that you were one of the most Google searched items in the world. I mean, like, wow.
I mean, listen, if I had set out and made a plan for that to happen, it would have never happened. So you've got to know it was, I mean, all by grace, right? Like we were talking about, like, you can't make those kind of plans. Like you can't say, I'm going to invent a product and it's going to sell 23.
It's going to sell, right.
I mean, it's just amazing to me too. Trust me, when I hear those statistics and, I try not to hear them too much because I don't like to believe all the hype, because things can change in a minute.
We do know that.
Yeah, and so you have to not kind of like buy into those kinds of statistics all the time. But they're great to hear. They're great to hear. And it's
the Beauty Blender Sponge changed my life.
Your passion, your hard work does pay. To hear.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I want to go through the journey from the beginning. So you start off as a makeup artist, obviously. And I know you were doing everyone back, and I know you still do makeup from time to time, from what I understand. But how did because now you have a full line, and we're going to go through all that too, but how did you get started in makeup, first of all, and then we'll go into how you actually created this product?
Right. So, well, I don't know how far back you want to go, but I started out doing makeup in music video with musical artists, because when you work in a place like Hollywood, especially, we're talking 25 years ago, 26 years ago, there weren't a lot of other areas in the United States where you could enter into the entertainment industry like you could in Hollywood. So being from California was definitely a benefit.
Right.
I went to FIDM and I studied fashion design. I always had, an idea for fashion and art and beauty, and I thought I would be doing something in a career, but I wasn't quite sure. But when I moved to LA, to West Hollywood, actually, to go to school, I started looking for a job, and I got a job at a retail counter in a department store, and that was kind of like my first introduction to makeup. However,
it's such a great way to learn how to do makeup.
Well, actually, that was a great way for me to learn what I'm doing now as a brand founder and someone that has to sell in a retail environment. Yeah, I mean, it was great to learn the skill of makeup, but I learned so much more actually on set. But what working in a department store really helped me to understand was the people thing about it, the person to person, the psychology, the conversation, when you work in someone's face, Damone, people can tend to get very nervous or uncomfortable around you. Learning how to make people feel comfortable. That was what I learned from there. Because I was going to school for art. I mean, I was already kind of good at makeup, but I hadn't chosen it as a career at that point. But what it did do was it really showed me that I wanted to move into the entertainment industry because there was such a ceiling on money that I could make in a department store. It was very corporate, and that wasn't really what I was into. So from there, living the life in LA at the time, going out and hanging out and meeting people, I met a couple photographers and got some test shoots together and started putting a book together, and I just started shopping myself to different photographers, and I started getting my book together, and then I could go to a production company. At the time, music video, a lot of it was either shot in New York or LA, and there were these big production companies, these production houses that produced commercials and music video. So, and music video was non-union. So now I'm a union member, but it was non-union, and that was my entry point into working on set. And I just ended up meeting so many different people. When you're in your 20s and you're socializing and you live in a place like Hollywood and you have a couple friends that are on the fringes of celebrity, you meet people, right? So I would meet record label people, I would meet different people, and I would let them know that, hey, I'm a makeup artist if you ever need anybody, and I would get an opportunity to show my book or my reel, whatever it was. And that's really how I started. I started out in music video, and I started out working with a lot of no-name groups that were just, coming out. They didn't know if they were going to come or not. But that's really where I learned, because I was able to kind of hone my skills. And music video at the time was super creative. So, you could do a lot of really interesting things. And that's where I learned the skill that eventually took me into film, which I tell this story because it's so funny how life is. You never know who you're talking to, okay? So be nice to everybody.
Never.
So
that's an important lesson, really.
Very important lesson because I used to work with, I can't remember the one director a lot, but I would work with, say, this production company very often, and they would hire a lot of the same crews for every job they would get. And there was this one that, be on my ass. I gotta get to set. And I would be like, oh my God, I locked my trailer door so he couldn't come in. And we used to have this banter back and forth. And his name happened to be F. Gary Gray, who ended up becoming and still is one of the most sought after movie directors. I went on to do Friday with him, which was my first motion picture.
Wow.
Then I went to do Set It Off with him.
One of my all-time favorites, by the way.
Like I said, you just... But, I mean, like I said, you just never know who you're going to meet and who's going to do something great, especially in the entertainment industry. I tell people that, go to school and, become doctors and lawyers, and you have years of education, and you know the path you have to take to those kind of careers. But in the entertainment industry, honey, anything goes. The person, the person serving your food could be the next big writer or the next big producer. There is no rhyme or reason to it. So just be nice to everybody,
Right. I think it's almost like your birthright. I always, I get taken to these fancy dinners with people that want to do business with me, for example. And if they're rude to the wait staff or the driver or something like that, I think it's a real big indicator of their true personality, who they really are. So I think it's really important that our viewers pay attention to people, because the great Maya Angelou quote, when people show you who they are the first time, believe it.
Oh, yeah.
They will show you.
They do. They show you, and they may not show you but you may observe them, like you said. You know, you're going to observe how they treat other people, and you know it's just a matter of time, honey. So
it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. So from doing that and doing the sets and doing the makeup, where did you get the idea to create the world's most...
Yeah, well, you know, it wasn't like I was setting out to change the way people put makeup on their face at all. What had happened was I had gotten the opportunity to department head a show called Girlfriends, this little show with Tracy Ellis Ross. And that show was going to be the first show shot and broadcast in high def. Prior to that, everything was being shot in film and...
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was the first show. And so the makeup, the film looks different. So everything looked different. The makeup looked different. And we had a show with 4 beautiful young girls. And the last thing that the director and the writers wanted were these girls to look over made up. We wanted them to look natural and beautiful and like really like they weren't wearing makeup, but just a perfect version of themselves. I mean, of course, they're young professionals, so they would wear lipstick, they would look stylish, but they didn't want them to have a lot of makeup and look like they were wearing a lot of makeup. And that's really tricky on a set because you're there for, 10 to 12 hours sometimes, and you're reapplying makeup, changing the looks. You shoot out of sequence, so you don't start the day shooting, the earliest
the first scene
of the day. Like you might do the last scene first, and it's just kind of crazy. So your makeup can tend to look really heavy. So I got the job because I was one of the few at the time makeup artists that were airbrushing beauty makeup. People had airbrushed makeup for special effects, but it hadn't really become a technique for beauty makeup, meaning your regular foundations and that kind of stuff, because it wasn't really practical in a setting on stage because it requires electricity. And that means you have to remove the actors from where they're on set, bring them to you, so where you have electricity. So it wasn't something that was really practical. But fortunately, or unfortunately, I mean, I guess fortunately, right? Because Beauty Blender was born from this situation. So fortunately, they didn't really care about that. They wanted me to figure out how I could airbrush.
They never do, right?
They don't. They just want you to figure it out. We're paying you to figure it out. So they wanted me to figure out how to keep them airbrushed beautiful in the morning all day long, even when you're on set. And the challenge is in between takes, you go touch up your actor. When they say cut, you walk on set, you touch everything back up. But you're doing those touch-ups with hand-applied brushes and makeup. So that makeup can tend to look really heavy towards the end of the day, not because you're actually reapplying more makeup, but more powder, and you're changing things. So it was a whole thing, Damone. It was like, I had to figure this out. And I had been taking, by this time I was in the union, right? I was department heading. We were on the Paramount lot, which means you have to be a union makeup artist. I had taken this class, and this one instructor, who was also a makeup artist, was talking about different techniques that she used on different movies, and something just like clicked in my head. And I thought, wow, that makes a lot of sense, because even in motion picture as opposed to TV, God, I'm getting really technical. I hope everybody understands what we're talking about. But, even in film, things have to look more raw. Like you get extreme close-ups, and you need to look like you have nothing on your face. And the way this one woman, this makeup artist, was achieving that look kind of gave me one idea, which was to wet the sponge. And then another idea came from special effects, where they would cut sponges in an edgeless way. Like all the girls and guys that would work in my departments would always cut the edges off of sponges, because then it makes a round shape and there's no lines of demarcation, which is exactly what you don't want to see in high def. So long story, but it was those two ideas that came together. I eventually started cutting these teardrop sponges. It worked. Everything looked really good. My dailies, when I would look at everything, would look really good. The directors were happy. The writers were happy. Everybody was happy. So I thought to myself, wow, these are really time consuming to make. So when we go to hiatus, meaning when the season, when we're done shooting, I'm going to figure out how to make them. And so that was my goal at that point, was to figure out how I could make them in a bulk way, because this was going to be the new way of shooting film. You know, this was going to be new. Now everybody shoots digitally. Everything
Right.
is what it is. But
Right.
so I like to say that Beauty Blender was one of the first high definition tools ever really made for high definition. I mean, it's a fact. It really
It's a
is.
fact, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just a fact, really. And it's so interesting, too, that you created as a makeup artist, but now people that aren't makeup artists realize the difference, because the customer has been so much more educated than they were prior. So they realize that this looks like skin when I use this particular product.
Here we go with grace again, because it was never my goal to make it a crossover product for consumers. I thought it would always just be a product that I could make in small batches and sell to my peers that were going to have the same challenges that I had. I never knew it was going to cross over into a consumer market. But as soon as I started recognizing that they were kind of like sprouting legs and walking away at the end of the night, like people were stealing them, I realized
They always
maybe
do.
I'm onto something here. Yeah, maybe
They
I'm
always
onto
do.
something here. I need to figure this out. Yeah, no, it's true.
What made you choose the color in particular? I think it's such a unique color.
Well, yeah, thank you. Okay, so the process of making Beauty Blender was, I was working with this one lab that, because they were the only ones that would work with me. Listen, when you're nobody and you're not a brand coming to a lab saying, oh, I'm a brand. When you say I'm a makeup artist, they're like, oh, I don't know if we have time, or I don't know that we can afford to help you, right? So I found this one lab that afforded to help me, which is still my lab today. And are they ever happy? But
Bet you
what
they
they
are.
would do,
Bet you they are.
yeah, what they would do would, every time we would test a new material, they would send it to me in a box, and it would be a different color, so that we could, at the end of the day, it was like color coding the different materials. So at the end of the day, I could refer to something as, oh, the green one or the blue one or whatever. So pink, the color pink of Beauty Blender, this color here, was the very last submission I got. And it was this
God, I
color.
love this story. I love this story.
Yeah, and it was this color. And I'll never forget, because when I opened up the box, I was always so excited to get these boxes, right? Because I knew I was going to have new material to try. And when I opened this box up, it's so funny, because it was a bunch of guys, right, in the lab. These are a bunch of guys that make, they make medical foam. They make foams that are used in hospitals.
They never get it.
And all kinds
They
of
never
stuff.
get it.
So, well, they don't get it, right? So when I opened the box up, they sent me, they wrote a note, and they said, don't look at the color, but we think this might be what you're looking for. And I opened it up, I opened the box, and I saw this glorious, bright, hot pink, happy color. And it made me so happy. The color, I don't know, it was like, it made my eyes really happy. I can't even explain it. But as I tested the material, it was the final submission. It was like, this is perfect. This is the material I want. And then they were like, okay, so let's talk about a color. And I was like, this is the color. And they were like, this color? And I was like, absolutely, I want this color, this material. And they were trying to tell me why I couldn't have that color. You can't do that color. It's too bright. In the beauty industry, sponge material is only white or beige or peach. And, we need soft colors. And I was like, nope, it doesn't matter. Because at the time, I wasn't looking at it as a consumer product. I was like, my makeup artist friends are going to love this color, and it's going to be great. Even if it becomes a consumer product, you're going to see this from across the room, and you're going to be curious to what is this pink, bright pink, teardrop shaped thing over on the shelf. So it would draw people in, just like it was such an attractive color, and it was standing out in a sea of black, because at that time all makeup was packaged in black. Makeup artists wore black. Everything was black, right? So it just popped.
Everything.
So, yeah. So that was why. That's the color story.
That's amazing. So many things are going through my mind. Do you have that color patented? Because it's so, when I
have it trademarked. I can't patent that color, but I trademarked it. and I trademarked it, and
Like
it was
Tiffany
the
blue.
first. Yeah, exactly. Tiffany blue. This is Beauty Blender pink, and I trademarked it because I could only trademark it after it became recognizable on a mass level as being the color of Beauty Blender. So I am the only one with a sponge material trademark. So
That's amazing, because God knows as my witness, I've seen so many people try to copy the product, and it's never the same, ever. You know, the colors, the texture. Anything.
I call those people my fans. They're my fans.
Clearly they are. Clearly they are.
And they recognize the beauty and value in Beauty Blender. So no hate to them. No, they're my fans. But Beauty
fans.
Blender, Beauty Blender created the category. So.
Oh my God. Hands down, Beauty Blender created the category. I was telling everyone before you came on board how it's so, to me, as a makeup artist, it's so much more impressive when a makeup artist creates a product versus someone just putting their name on a product. And like you said, you go into the lab and there's all these men in these sterile suits, and they know nothing about beauty. They're scientists. So, I mean, imagine me walking in with all this hair and face, and I'm talking to these guys. I'm like, no, this isn't the right texture. This isn't the right. They look at you like you're crazy, but it's okay because you know what you're trying to get. And every once in a while, you
and they understand. They understand the words. Like, they understand the words. Right. Like, when I would talk to them about density or talk to them about being hydrophilic, like, they get the words, but they don't get the marketing side.
Right. Do you think that there's so many questions people are asking on here as well. Did you design it for it to be used wet originally, or was that something that you discovered by accident as well?
Absolutely. Remember back when I was taking those classes and I was listening to that makeup artist talk about using wet sponges. The thing about a wet sponge, really quickly, is that sponges by nature, their whole existence, their whole job is to absorb moisture, right? But when a sponge is wet and it's happy, it's no longer thirsty, when it's filled with water, it then becomes softer and it becomes a vehicle to transport a substance. So it's no longer trying to draw it in. What it's trying to do is expel it. So that's why when you use a damp Beauty Blender sponge that's not thirsty and you bounce it on your face, it's pushing the makeup out onto your skin. It's not holding onto it. And you can only do that when it's wet.
When it's wet.
It's the secret. It's the secret behind the silver screen era of makeup artistry, when makeups used to be pancake makeups that were water activated. You would have to use a wet sponge to activate the makeup. Right. It's the same kind of thing.
Right. James wants to know, from super young to an older consumer, why do you think it's so easy and relatable to the consumer?
Because there's no learning curve, and it's not an intimidating product. It doesn't look complicated. Because it's not. If you can do this, you can use a Beauty Blender. I mean, seriously. If you can bounce it on your face, you can bounce it on your face, you can apply makeup like a professional. And I think it just takes one or two bounces for someone to go like, oh, okay, all right. And you can do corrective makeup. So for someone that's wearing makeup because they want to conceal imperfections or whatever, it just, you bounce it a couple times and it's gone. I mean, there's nothing easier about it. Listen, I love brushes. I actually just came out with these amazing brushes, but a brush requires a learning curve. You have to learn how to hold it. You have to learn how to stroke it, how to use it, how to blend with it. Beauty Blender is so simple. If you can just bounce it on your face, you get flawless complexion.
You really can. And it's so funny, too, because, again, I've been a fan and I've been following you as a friend as well. And I saw that you recently posted Madonna using your Beauty Blender. And you were like, my world is done now. I can retire now. It's Madonna using my product.
I mean,
Kylie, Kim Kardashian, everyone uses your product. Everyone.
It's the gift that keeps giving. I mean, it's like, seriously, seeing Madonna was the latest, kind of shocker for me, because of course, I've been a Madonna fan forever and I love her so much, and she is truly a makeup queen and a skincare queen. So when you see her using anything,
Yeah,
stuff to use. So for her to use it and just be like putting her
It was
makeup
the
on backstage
ultimate
with it was
seal
just like
of approval.
amazing. Yeah.
It's so funny because you and I, you know, we're from the same era, and I've been very fortunate to work with everyone. But I tell you, everyone always asks me if I ever get nervous, and I never get nervous. But the one time I got nervous was when Madonna called, and I went to her house, and I remember I was so nervous because, again, my generation, Madonna was everything. I grew up with posters of her as a little boy all over my wall.
And so she had amazing brows.
She did when I did them.
Yeah, I mean, you had a lot to work with.
I did. I had a lot to work with. But imagine your childhood idol growing, you know, calling you one day, and next thing you know, you're working on them, and they think you're the best at what you do, and obviously you think she's the best at what you do. So obviously she's using the beauty blender because, like you said, Madonna doesn't mess around. She knows the best of the best. Yeah. So that says a lot about you for sure. Now, you just mentioned you have brushes, and I know you have foundations, and you have concealer and a new primer, which I can't wait to try.
Yes,
so
I'll send you everything.
Yourself.
Yeah, I'll send you. I would love to get your opinion on them. And
I love the foundation. I use the foundation in my salons. It's fantastic.
You do? Oh,
it looks like skin. It really looks like skin.
It's, you know, for so many years, you know, you can attest to this too, especially back in the time that I was starting as a makeup artist. I gained the reputation of being a makeup artist that specializes in women of color. I'm a woman of color, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I guess because of, I don't know, my background or whatever, that seemed to be like the pocket that I fit into as a makeup artist.
Right.
And for so many years, it was kind of like a category that was kind of like, oh, well, she does black girls. Oh, she does women of color. It was kind of like I could never get like certain clients, right? But what that actually did for me was so amazing is it made me such a color mixologist because there wasn't 40 shades of foundation back then. You were lucky if you got to a line and they had 7. So you had to real quick in a hurry figure out how to blend and match shades. So fast forward now to creating my foundations. I have 40 shades, and I could keep making more, but I don't know. I think 40 is a good number to land on. But, you know, but that background I have in understanding skin and skin tone and shades and how to match a person's skin really paid off in creating this foundation because I was also known as a complexion specialist. Just like with Girlfriends, a lot of what I did on Girlfriends was matching texture, not just matching color, but when you can see pores, that's when you don't think they're wearing makeup. When you don't see pores and you see a lot of smooth texture, your brain just calculates it as makeup. This makeup I created in this small little lab in Italy, and it is the most amazing texture on your skin. I call it like a velveteen finish, and it's just like what you said. It looks like real skin. So when you're face forward like this, it's clean, but when you turn to the side, it gives you dimension. So that's what is like a trick of the eye. The trompe l'oeil, you know, it makes you think that something else is going on, like you just have perfect skin. So that's what I love about it.
That's amazing. Rea Ann,
and you know what else? You know what else I did?
Please tell me.
Let me show you what else I did. Do you have these bottles, or did I send you the Pro?
They sent me. That's so cool.
This bottle I created with this, like, I don't know if you can see, like, this beauty blender shape here. But it actually works as your palette so that you're not contaminating your makeup by into it, but not only that, you have more control. So let me show you. You pump the makeup down into the well. I don't know if you can see it. See how it goes into the well?
We see it now, yeah.
Right there? Wow. Yeah. And then, wait, let me show you. Then you use the beauty blender. I got to get it in the camera, like this, and this becomes your palette. And the reason why we use palettes is so that we have more control, because I'm all about not over applying makeup. It's easier to build your makeup than to take it away. So this has won a lot of packaging awards already.
That's brilliant. See, it's those little details. It's the little details. It's like you created your own cleanser. which you always use for, not only do I use it for my beauty blender products, but I use it for everything now. And I think that, again, it's the little details like that little pivot and that foundation is what takes you to the whole different level. Mad props. Mad props.
Are you talking about blender cleanser? Are you talking about the blender cleanser?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for brushes. Do you know why I made that though? Do you know why? Because
why?
In my 20-something years as a makeup artist on set, I was sitting in my trailer one night and I was cleaning up and I was throwing away all of those triangular sponges, and I was filling, between 6 makeup artists in a trailer, I was filling trash cans full of the sponges, because you use them once, you throw them away, right? They were disposable.
Right.
And guess what, guys? They don't go away. They stay in the landfills forever, and they don't biodegrade. Wow. And I was just one makeup artist, and I thought about how many of these are being thrown away, and they're just sitting there polluting the environment, when there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to clean them and reuse them. We look at our brushes as being reusable as long as you clean them, right? They're porous, they hold everything, but for some reason, I think it was a very early sponge manufacturer marketed it as a disposable item because it's a good replenishment business. You have to keep buying them over and over and over again.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's why it came out.
Brilliant. That's so brilliant. Every little detail makes such a difference.
I wanted it to be an environmentally friendly product. Yeah. Sustainability.
Right. I also find it, yeah, absolutely. I find it fascinating as well that you are a global indie brand. You're the 100% owner. Yeah. And I know from being in the industry as long as I have, people come and they try to buy your company. Yeah. I'm sure you had many, many, many offers. And maybe one day you will, but I'm curious as to why you decided not to thus far.
I don't know. I mean, part of it is because I was just kind of naive. And in some ways, really, I kind of have this old-fashioned mentality that, I want to create something that I can leave to my kids. And
you've done that.
Yeah, I have, but only because I haven't sold, Right. I retain the control of the company. So, depending on who you talk to, some people would say, well, that's not the smartest thing because I keep myself at risk because I'm 100% owner. But then there's other people that admire it. So it just depends on how you think about it. But absolutely, I'm still 100% owner. And,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so amazing to me. Like I said, the respect level keeps going up, up, up. I think that's just amazing. I also want to mention quickly that you received the CEW Female Founder Award for 2020, so that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah, and you know what else? I'm not really trying to brag, but this is
please.
This is like you going to Madonna's house, right?
Brag, you should always
what
brag.
happened to me. This is
what you created.
I'm like a nerd, right? So this thing was so fucking amazing, is that the Smithsonian and wanted to honor me as an inventor. Yeah, as an inventor that invented a product that changed people's lives. And so before all of the COVID-19, there's 7 women. It's only 7, it's women inventors. So there were 7 women inventors that they honored. And only 2 of them were still alive. They were honoring people
oh my gosh.
This woman that created frozen foods, frozen dinners, and random women, but really inventions that change people's lives, right? And I thought, are you sure? The lady called, I was like, are you sure you're calling the right person? And they're like, no, we researched you. I was like, okay.
Congratulations, that's incredible.
Yeah, so all that to say that this month, the Smithsonian had the COVID-19 not happen. And it will forever be in the Smithsonian for my kids and my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, everybody to see that I was there and that I invented something that changed people's lives.
That's so beyond. That gives me chills because it's just.
Isn't it crazy?
It's amazing because I think that's what we all want to do. Is we want to create something to leave behind for others. So congratulations on that. Sincerely, that's really, really
thank you.
Amazing. How do you see beauty? Someone asked, how do you see the beauty industry shifting after COVID-19?
Yeah, I mean that's a big
I
question,
know.
right? I think
It really
that
is.
there's so many questions in that one question. Like, how is makeup as a product going to change? How is the retail environment going to change? How is everything going to change? I feel like it's really interesting that we're all learning how to do what we're doing right now, like work on our devices. I have 3 offices. I have an office in LA, New York, and in Pennsylvania. And, I used to travel this circular circuit all the time, going to all my offices and visiting, my staff there. And now we just do everything on Zoom. And I have to tell you, I feel so much closer and connected than I did before. So that's
Interesting.
one way. And I feel like it's changing the way people think about makeup and want to feel in their makeup. I feel like there's going to be a continued interest in clean makeups. But I feel like that's interesting because clean makeups don't necessarily have preservatives and things in the makeup that keep them safe from germs and bacteria and that kind of stuff. So
Right.
it's going to be interesting to see how those two come together.
Right.
I feel like for the last 5 or 6 years, because of technology, we've been able to really have a lot of fun with makeup and really play with looks and really, enjoy a lot of makeup at one time. And I just wonder now if we're going to be kind of returning back to more of a more natural type of makeup artistry. For some, I think I don't really know. I just feel like there's so many options for us moving forward in terms of product development and what makeup actually, the result of makeup does.
Right.
I think that it's just going to explode. I feel like there's going to be more.
I think there's going to be more as well too. Do you think it's important as a brand to stay in communication with your consumer on a regular basis?
Oh my God, it's everything.
It makes the biggest difference, doesn't it?
It is everything. The days of thinking you know everything is done, honey. If you have that mentality, your days are numbered. You have to be in touch with your customer. You have to hear them. You have to, take the criticism. You have to take the accolades. You have to take all of it into consideration when you're thinking, about future products and about how to improve. It's everything. And, what's so great about the era that we live in now is that technology now for the first time allows us to really hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know what I mean? But it's all good. There's nothing bad about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It really is. It's just such it's such an interesting time. Do you think, because like you and I got started before social media existed, do you think that's helped or hindered our industry?
I just think it's different. I don't think it's any worse. I don't think it's any better. I think that you have to change with the times. So I feel, I do have peers that are from our time that feels like the digital era and technology has ruined everything, and there's so many more makeup artists, and nobody has the same experience. I don't agree with that. I feel like
I don't either.
We really all have our niche. Some people are really great on camera. They're really great at tutorials, and they should get paid for being great at doing that. I happen to be great on set. I happen to be great at knowing how to transform in real life onto film. And, so I get paid for that. Different people have different skill sets. It doesn't mean that it takes away from anything that you do. It actually allows you to create a different skill set if you want to, so I don't know.
Absolutely.
I love it all. Yeah.
I feel the same way. I feel that, in order to have a successful brand, you have to be open to change because change is inevitable. It's always going to present itself.
If you're not, your days are numbered. That's when you become old school, right?
Yeah.
You have to stay current.
Period. Yeah. You got to be open to change.
Well, listen, aging is a mental state because we're all aging. There's nobody not aging, so we all are aging. So it's just a matter of how young you keep it, right?
How long you keep it. Yeah,
and that is how open you are. So you have to be open to the good, the bad, the criticism, the new things, instead of not understanding something and looking at it and going like, no, I don't think that's going to work. If somebody is doing something new, why not try to understand it?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why you keep coming up with new products and everything else, because you have to keep pushing yourself in order to grow. That's part of our life journey. It's part of the growing and everyone. Someone's asking, when will your brush set be available?
They're available now. They're on my website at beautyblender.com, and they're also at Sephora all over.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so amazing. Okay, I got so many questions.
Did I tell you? Wait, you're gonna love this, Damone. I gotta send you some of these. Let me show you why you're gonna love this. Do you know what I did? I was in Asia. You know, I travel a lot, and I was in Hong Kong like 5 years ago, right? And you go into these amazing stores, department stores that they have there, and they have all these different departments, and they have
amazing.
They have the digital technology departments, and back then they were doing all of the facial rollers and hadn't even touched the United States yet. But all these women were rolling their faces and then using gua sha tools and all this stuff, and I was really into it. But it's like I try to stay very focused in my lane too. Like I didn't want to branch out into too many like skincare, color, makeup. Right. Like I need to stay really focused, right? But I created this brush, and what's really cool about this brush is that it has this Zamek tip. This is metal that stays cold, and it rolls. So it's a facial massager. So you massage before you put your makeup on. And it stays cool. So it depoofs, and it gets all of, in the mornings when I would get my clients ready in the morning, and sometimes we start at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's
you got your
ungodly hours.
Yeah.
You have to massage the face to get the blood going and things, and to wake the face up. So this is something that
helps.
This is my big baller brush.
I love it. They're saying it says that your brushes are sold out on your website. That's what they're telling me. So just FYI.
Oh my God.
Just FYI. That's what Paige M. Hopper says. So.
That is a new status. Okay, that is a new status.
That's
because they weren't sold out. I'm gonna thank you, Paige. I am going to be calling my people when we're done with this call. Right?
Mama, don't play, honey. Okay, real quick. I like to do a lightning round with all my guests because I think it's quick answers that really show a little bit more of who the person is.
Okay.
So I'm going to just throw some things at you and tell me the first one. Ready?
Let's play. Yeah.
Okay. Hip hop or R&B?
R&B.
Pants or dress?
Pants.
Boys in the Hood or Poetic Justice? Ramon said you're going to get stuck on that one. He told me you're going to get stuck on that one.
I would cheat. I would have both.
Okay. Champagne or Prosecco?
Champagne.
Orange juice or apple juice?
Orange juice, because I can mix it with more things.
Naomi or Iman?
Oh.
I love this part of the show. This is my favorite part. I love this.
I mean, now don't get me wrong. I love me some Naomi, okay? But I have to say Iman, because if there was not Iman, there would be no Naomi.
That part right there.
That part
right there. Okay, so finish these sentences for me. What I know for sure is.
What I know for sure is that happiness is a state of mind.
I would love my legacy to be.
I would love my legacy to be that she worked hard, she was honest, and she made a difference.
I don't leave my house without.
I don't leave my house without my phone.
I find I'm most happiest when.
I find that I'm most happiest when I'm with my family.
I love that. What's your number one self-love tip?
To not take things so seriously,
That's a big one.
Yeah, to try not, life will definitely throw you some hard balls, right?
It really is.
But try to know that, I love this saying that it can't rain forever. Like eventually the sun does come out, so you have to really in life realize that the discomforts or the changes, the things that you're going through are temporary, as long as you keep your mind open and
Right.
you're open to, kind of like when shit goes wrong, I kind of just almost like absorb it. Do you know what I mean? I don't like push it away. I try to just absorb it, push it through, and then move on to the next thing.
You have to. And I've learned as I've gotten further in my journey that, there's a Japanese proverb that says you fall down 7 times, you get back up 8. And, you can't have the rainbow if you don't have the rain type of thing. But I found that instead of, like you said, I don't push it away anymore. I've learned to just kind of sit in it for a minute and really observe it so I can come out of it with the lesson. So I think that's really important.
Exactly, because it's all about the lesson.
It's all about the lesson. What's your number one business tip?
Sorry, my husband just walked in. He didn't know what I was doing. My number one business tip. Again, it's kind of just really, really understanding this. Nobody knows everything. Okay?
Right.
So if you walk into a room and you feel insecure that you don't know as much as the people there, or just realize that nobody knows everything, and as long as you understand that, you'll be able to recognize the people that know the things that you don't know. So what I found out about myself through being a makeup artist and now being a brand founder is that I'm a pretty good picker. Like, I recognize the qualities in people that I lack. So the skills that I don't, and I have to be honest, because some people think they can do everything. Marketing, I'm good at everything. I know I've got this down. I know what I'm doing.
Right,
down,
right. We all have different
lanes. It's not always true. And be okay with not knowing everything, but recognizing people that are really good at what they do.
Right. We got 3 minutes before they
somehow inviting them into your web. You want them to come in.
We got 3 minutes before they cut us out. I think the hour is going to go by so quickly. Okay, so 2 more questions. Your number one motivational tip?
Just, learn that you learn from failures. So,
Yeah, right.
I get motivated by ideas, and then I spend days with my team, them telling me why my ideas won't work. This is our exercise. I have an idea, and they tell me,
tell you why
I don't know how this idea, how it won't work. And then that motivates me to show them how I'm thinking, how these eyes are seeing, and getting them on board. And that to me is like the game, the challenge of it. I love that. That motivates me. Like, tell me I can't do something, and I'm going to tell you how I can.
How I can do it. What's your number one beauty tip? Lastly, what's your number one beauty tip?
Sleep and water. Sleep and water.
Sleep and water is essential. It really is. Rea Ann, I love you so much. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being a part of it. I have so much respect for you and what you're doing, and you've accomplished your legacy, and you're continuing to inspire, and I know what's ahead of you is even greater than what's behind you. What's ahead of you is even greater than what's behind you. So you keep doing your thing and making us proud.
I will tell you this, though. Thank you for all of that. But even as much as you think I'm successful, and I have had some success for sure, it never changes. You never, I don't feel like I have reached the mountaintop yet. I'm still trying to do some shit.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it. You haven't yet.
And I can't wait to see what you're doing.
I tell you what, I got 40 seconds left, but I want to get some of that primer for sure.
I'm going to give it to you.
And everything
No
else.
problem. No
and
problem.
I love you, and I will talk. I'm going to actually text you right afterwards. We got 20 seconds. Thank you again.
Okay.
I appreciate you, and
Thank
I'll see
you.
you again. All right.
Bye.
Love you, Rea Ann. Bye now.